Good afternoon. Today we consider the leadership role human resources and organization development can take in digital transformation for an organization. Transformation by its nature involves significant change across the organization system, and most programs will include elements of organization development, personal development, technology development, and customer development. In addition, ecosystems development. History and analyst reports tell us if you manage digital transformation like an IT project, it will likely fail. Whereas if you look at it as a business and organization development initiative, it will likely succeed. Organizations must consider, firstly, the nature of the digital change and transformation. Understand the known challenges in digital transformation and look at the digital landscape for their own functions. Finally, the central point we need to look at is the digital workplace for each individual stakeholder. We will then look at a model for change and transformation and how the practical value of a capability maturity framework can help achieve the transformation goals. We'll introduce the organization capability maturity framework and look at some use cases. The extent of the adoption of new technologies and their impact on products and services on one side, and on the other side, on products, processes, business models, operating models, determine the nature and magnitude of change overall for the organization. Transformational change indicates an ambition to start a significant journey before the destination is fully clear, and is likely to envisage radical changes to business, to product, to operations, to culture, and/or to capabilities. Incremental change is about improving something based on existing practice and culture, and incrementally building new capabilities to enable the planned improvements. Transitional change is ambitious change, but it's to a specific domain, or replacing an existing approach with a known but different way. In effect, the organization decide whether they will refine, reconfigure, or reinvent themselves to attain a goal of creating offering leadership, stakeholder intimacy, or operational excellence, where the customer is central. There's consistency across analysts and industry experts relating to the digital transformation challenges. As you consider these top 7 challenges, note that just one directly relates to technology. The rest relate to the whole area of leadership management, talent management, culture, reinforcing the key role HR and OD can play. A fundamental challenge for most organizations is that the organization's capabilities do not align with the transformation and change ambition. The technology landscape is complex, and working with the IT team is a critical success factor as they play a key role in the design and the implementation of the technology strategy to support the business aims and ambitions. HR and OD will have 2 major concerns. Firstly, how to leverage technology to improve its own performance and value to the business. And secondly, how to design and implement personal and organization development programs and interventions that will facilitate the successful digital transformation across the whole business. By focusing on the core organization systems dynamics and their maturities, they can build a resilient and self-sustaining culture that can organically respond to change going forward. In looking at the digital workplace for the individual, We see that many employees will be moving from perhaps a small number of computer systems they interact with day to day to a much broader array of systems and functionalities that change the way people work and collaborate. Digital transformation changes the work people do. It changes roles they perform and the skills they require to participate in and sustain the digital transformation. Organizations need some model to frame and manage transformation. And here we present such a model. Different organizations and industries may have different drivers that create the need for change and transformation. Here we are obviously concerning ourselves with technology-driven change and leading to an organization to recognize their need or the opportunity and set their aims and ambitions as a result of the catalysts or the drivers. The maturity of an organization in terms of innovation, agility, and collaboration will regulate the rate at which it can change. However, agility, innovation, and collaboration can be improved by improving the underlying organization dynamics maturity. Choices need to be made about what we need to change. Using a simple but comprehensive frame, we use the men, methods, machines, materials, and information as the key points to guide what we need to change. Successful transformation needs to quickly get to terms as to what are the priorities to be changed. In parallel, we need to determine where on the value pyramid these changes should be made to achieve the transformation aims and ambitions. These aims will be outlined in the targets for the outcomes, which need to be monitored throughout the transformation process. Viewing the organization as a dynamic system, we could use capability maturity management as a means to manage the complexity here, set the priorities, and focus on action. An effective maturity framework will include the following: a comprehensive, useful, and usable body of knowledge that's accessible. Maturity assessments, which provides facts and info to make decisions and to plan actions. Maturity improvement roadmaps that will guide the chosen improvements and changes to be made in the organization to achieve the ambition. A means to identify and prioritize actions, and a means to connect those actions with the target outcomes. Capability management is defined as the ability to mobilize resources to achieve a specific aim. A capability maturity model is a means to apply the techniques that support change and transformation and answer the final outstanding question that relates to the model, which is, how do we change? The traits of an effective capability maturity framework are represented in the list here, which we presented earlier. There are very few scientific and research maturity models, and most of them relate to the information technology arena. These include the capability maturity model integrated from SEI and Carnegie Mellon, control objectives for information and related technologies, often known as COBIT from ISACA, and the IT capability maturity framework from the Innovation Value Institute at Maynooth University. The Organization Capability Maturity Framework from the Organization Development Tools Institute is the only organization development-centric framework, and it's based on dynamic systems maturity theory. The Organization Capability Maturity Framework provides a means to align the development changes to achieve the transformation program aims. Here we present the high-level architecture of the Organization Capability Maturity Framework, which includes a 7-level normative standard maturity scale we can see on the left-hand side. There are 15 key dynamics for any organization, where a dynamic is defined as a force that stimulates change or progress in a system or a process. Each dynamic has 4 to 8 constructs. A construct is defined as a characteristic to be measured in terms of the building blocks that influence a dynamic. There are a total of 87 constructs in the Organization Capability Maturity Framework. Here we present as an example the 5 constructs for the goal dynamic: the buy-in technique, the goal setting process, integration at an individual level, involvement, and management discipline. The key to any capability maturity framework is that individuals and teams can use it in many different ways at any stage of the transformation process. The body of knowledge for the organization capability maturity framework can be easily navigated or searched to learn, to identify a trait, or to find a development or improvement guidance. The body of knowledge is free and open to anyone. Assessment can be formal or informal. Formal is using structured and automated online assessment of maturity. Informal may be just about getting the team around a big screen to review and discuss actions while presenting the body of knowledge or the assessment questions on the screen. There are 3 levels of assessment. Triage has 1 maturity question for each dynamic and can be used to initiate the strategy for transformation or to identify quick fixes to urgent issues. Diagnostic. This is where we can configure your selected dynamics with 1 question per construct for the selected dynamics. And then deep diagnostic, which goes deep into dynamic systems maturity theory using 15 scientific maturity levels, and is useful for deep analysis. Thank you for your attention. We will now take questions. Also, if you require any further detail, you can access www.orgcmf.com or email us at either of the emails presented.